to be great.
Amen.
There we go. All right. What up, what up, what up, y'all? I am your host, Young Smooth, and I am sitting here with my girl, Singleton Newman. Okay, y'all ain't got to announce that it's on. I understand it's on all the platforms. Right now, we are on my YouTube page with Kicking It with Young Smooth. We're also on the Kicking It with Young Smooth podcast on Facebook. So feel free to join in, ask any questions. Singleton is a maverick. Okay? Singleton, I love Singleton to death. I had to have her on because we had a conversation. Now, the conversation started from some Hennessy and moved its way on. But I thought about it and I was thinking to myself, you've done so much for so many other people. When do you get a moment to have your shine? So, as we go into this, I want people to learn so much more about what you do, but I am Singleton Newman. Who is Singleton Newman?
Um, I'm a
It's a
woman.
loaded question.
That is a loaded question. Hold on. I do have to. I have a. Hearing a little feedback. Maybe I need to turn this down. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool. Um, I'm a woman that's, you know, I don't know. That's when somebody asks me who I am, it's like it's hard to kind of encompass that in words because I'm so many things.
Hmm.
But I'm a woman of God. I love my family. Um, and I want to win in this world. I want to be successful.
Right.
Um, that's who I am. I wake up every day to try to, continue my fight to for a better life every single day, just
Hmm.
like every other person in this world. So
Right.
I'm a business owner. I
Right.
am a business partner. I am
Hmm.
a consultant. I am
Hmm.
a friend. I am a daughter, um, a
Yeah.
counselor, a big sister,
Yes. All of those things.
all of those
All of the
things,
things.
all these
All of the
titles,
things.
soon to be
Yeah.
somebody's queen. Praise God. Let that
Come on, God. Look at it.
come
Look
on,
at
God.
Jesus. What?
We're gonna call that into existence. And if I'm ever honored, I will be somebody's mom one day.
There you go. Absolutely. So you have been in this industry that we call music and entertainment and just all in all around a just a supporter of the arts.
Yeah.
What drives you to continue to do what you do?
What drives me to continue to do what I do is for to see people that are independent artists or creative people win. So many times this industry is very hard to get into and to
Hmm.
step into. It's very hard. And you only win if you have the right type of counseling and support behind you. Because
Right.
the people that we love today, that we stand for, our fans for today, they all have had people behind them directing them in the right direction. They weren't necessarily always a one man band. So I tend to be that person for whoever that is. But
Hmm.
I'm learning every day that I need to be that person for myself.
You do. You do. I remember a time. Well, just to give a little backstory, when me and Singleton first met, oh, so so many years ago,
Whew, long
um,
time.
long time ago, I was rapping, and I was actually very deep underground.
Hmm.
But I remember just with everything that you went through with M&M Records and all of the other endeavors that you were doing, our paths kept crossing.
Hmm.
And you and I just became friends. And when I tell you, I can call Singleton about anything, y'all, I can call Singleton about anything. Be like, girl, look, this was happening. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I think that it's great that you're that type of support system. You know what I'm saying? So we
Hmm.
we appreciate you. Bottom
Thank
line.
you. Thank you.
So thank you. So what else have you been working on?
Well, right now I'm very focused on my business, which is New Hope Digital.
Mhm.
I've over the past few years, I've dabbed my foot in multiple business ventures. Um, and I was with MAM Records for close to about 11 or 12 years, going on 12 years when I
We'll be
decided to
old.
depart. Yeah, when I decided to depart from that brand, I, dipped my foot. I've always like been a serial side hustler. That's what I call myself. And so
Mm-hmm.
I dipped myself in various industries just to see, really where my passion was. And
Hmm.
I made a decision at the beginning of 2019 to really take my social media agency business serious. I've been advising, my clients or people that I've worked with about the usage of social media and the power of social media for over 10 years. But it was important to me that I doubled down. Since I had departed the record label, it was important that I doubled down and really say, okay, I want to focus on it. So that's exactly what I'm focusing on. New Hope Digital. I do have other business ventures, but New Hope Digital is the one that, I really want to nourish and catapult, um, you know, globally, nationwide.
Right.
So
And explain what New Hope Digital is
So,
primarily.
so New Hope Digital is my social media agency. It's a business that is built on helping small, medium, and large brands and businesses grow online and making it easier for them to navigate the business landscape online. So I do social media management where I help people do something as simple as posting on pages, monitoring their accounts, analytics.
Hmm.
I also assist with digital marketing services if they want to run ads. I brand consult. So if they need direction on marketing for their business, I also do that as well. So I sit
Yeah.
inside of a lot of different pockets with people, even down to simply business startup. I've been contacted to help people write a business plan or get their necessary documentation for their entertainment company, such as publishing and trademarks and things like that. So simple but essential services such as that, all the way
Hmm.
to like brand strategy, social media marketing, I've been contacted for. So that's uh that's about what I do. So if you're
Yeah.
someone that needs that sort of guidance for either a campaign or project you want to do or your full scale business, people would hire me to come in and talk to them about that.
And now I know that means I'm gonna need to start coming out the pocket because I got a lot of that for free 99.
Free
So I
99.
don't.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I do charge. I do have a fee, so don't try me. But I But I put it to you like this, like some people just need clarification and there's a cost for clarification. But when I
Mhm.
talk to you, I've given $1 million at this point. If I sat down and did the math, I've given $1 million worth of game to several people that I care about. And do I feel
Mhm.
like I have to charge to give somebody like just some simple guidance, some clarification? No. But if you're coming to me and say, yes, I want to hire you for XYZ, then yeah, of course, you make
Yeah.
the investment and we move forward. But for you, you've been doing the work. You've been doing the
Thank
work.
you.
And I just kind of like, well, what about this? And what about that? I just feel like I just do
Yo,
that.
every single time, like I'm like Singleton. This is where I am, and I will say that Singleton is one of those people that will talk you off the ledge, and I've been on the ledge many times,
I've saved
many times.
people. I've saved a lot of people from splattering over into pieces. And
Yo,
I, uh, but some people, I mean, and some people I can't save.
yeah, no, you can't. You can't say more.
Uh, I just tell them what I think, and they do what they want. And many people have just gone ahead and just done what they wanted to do,
Hmm.
and it doesn't turn out well. So I kind of
Right.
sit back with the "I told you so" face. But it's
Hmm.
people have to learn. Sometimes people excel through the failures and the mistakes. I know I do.
Hmm. And it's like I've been able to rely on you for the ultimate pushes where it's either been like, yo, like I remember one piece of advice that you gave me that was so great. It was like, you have all of these resources of people that you put on and that you put into a platform, have them do the same for you.
Right.
Because I'm big on being like, look, I just do it myself. It don't matter. I don't need nobody's help. But sometimes those pushes and those kicks and those kickstarters from other people, that helps. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So how do you think that the social media landscape is going to change due to everything that's going on? Like, will it now make things easier for people? Will it make things harder?
It definitely won't make things harder. It makes things easier
Mhm.
because of the access to the information. But here's the trick: we now have to quality control
Yeah.
what we're viewing, and
Hmm.
platforms like Twitter and Facebook, Instagram have to give people more options to control what they're seeing and what they're participating in.
Right.
Um, that can be good and bad. I mean, it's starting actually right now as we're speaking. Just yesterday, my father posted something and it was
Hmm.
immediately censored and flagged out by Facebook
Ooh.
to be fact checked. I screenshotted it. Because my father, he posts, he's a part of the baby boomer generation where
Right.
he posts things and he just, they don't really have the curation thought process that someone in our age group has. So they're
Hmm.
just like posting, and you know what I mean? His awareness is not all the way there, but he posted something and it just was flagged and fact checked. It's actually, they use
Hmm.
that term inside the post. So as we're speaking today, it's become easier and faster to get the information, but we have to be careful because people are spreading rumors, lies, and misinformation by the
Yeah.
second. So we have to
Yeah.
say what is a credible source and what is not.
And what I think that where that is coming from is that we're very clickbaitish, number one,
Yes.
and number two. Not only that, I think that we're now in a society where the clip means more than the story. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it's just like, oh, I've only seen 6 seconds of this clip, so this is the truth. Not necessarily.
Well,
Speaking of which,
we
yeah,
all saw this unfortunately during the passing
you
of
know me too
Kobe
well.
Bryant.
Yeah, yeah, you
Did
know me too well.
TMZ
That's kind of where I'm going.
did TMZ have to, was it necessary? But it was necessary for them. They
Hmm.
profit off of it, off of the
Exactly,
life of
exactly.
somebody else
Or the death.
when they do the death.
Like
And
it's just unreal. Or just like for instance, I think that we didn't get a full glimpse of the story with the whole George Floyd situation. You know
no,
what I mean? Like I didn't know until I mean almost a week later that there were still two other police officers besides the two that were originally in that video. If I only went based off the video, I would have been like, well, we're only convicting two. No, we need to convict four.
right.
You know what I'm
But
saying? So we
camera
get a
angles,
story shape. Yeah, like we get a story's shape off of one thing, and everyone kind of runs with what their story is. And what I try to do is the research to look beyond that and then look at kind of what everybody else is saying about it to piece something together. Because you'll never know there's the person that was their side of the story, the person that's trying to defend themselves versus, and then the actual truth that's in the midst of that.
right. And that is why it's important that we sometimes have to wait to see
Hmm.
what's happening before we react.
Right.
And we are a very reactive society. As soon as we see something, it's like, oh, that's what it is. And sometimes that's not always what it is,
Right.
because I didn't see till a week later either the other camera angle of that
Right,
whole
exactly.
situation.
Right.
And, you know, that's
Which
why
is
it's really important that, the justice is served all the way around.
exactly. And you and I had that conversation where it was like, they kill you twice. You know what I'm saying? Like down to the point where the defaming of his name and the actual death itself have all kind of coincided with each other. Like for instance, I give you the for instance, the craziest shit that I thought about with this was you all of this stemmed from a counterfeit $20 bill.
Mhm.
But we all know how many times we could have had a counterfeit $20 bill in our presence and not even thought twice about it.
It
So
happens
allegedly,
more than it happens often.
right. And then that the story still evolves from the fact that they had known each other for 17 years and so on and so forth. I'm like, what is the real story? Like there's so much. Speaking of which, thoughts on the protests. What are your thoughts?
The protests are justified. The peaceful protests are
Mm,
justified. The looting and rioting is not. But I
yes.
can understand why that's happening because people are
Right.
angry and they've had enough. They've had it.
It-
But we have to be very careful about who is really rioting
right.
and what their agenda is. I do believe a lot of things are staged. A lot of things are
Hmm.
paid for and set up to make it look one way when it's another. So I
Hmm.
think everybody needs to be careful when they go out and protest. I
Right.
think everybody needs to be prepared when they protest
Hmm.
and be aware, um, and make sure you know all of your rights. Um, a lot of people are doing a lot of like, it's hard for me to find the words.
Yeah.
There are a lot of celebrities that are right now that are speaking out about what's happening. And one or two things are happening. One, they're either praised and they're like, yeah, right on, right? They get that
Hmm.
reaction, and then it's like, yeah, you're woke, like, yeah, thank you for saying something, or thank you for donating, and fighting the good fight, and blah blah blah. And then we have the other people that they also have an opinion, but they're getting dragged to hell.
Yeah.
And then it's like you're either being told to shut up, or why aren't you speaking out? So what is it?
But and so that leads to what we talked about before, just a portion of a clip. Like for instance, the Shakana and Tory Lane situation.
Right.
Like that's a whole thing. Shakana, I just was watching it on, I think it was like Nine Mag Arts or whatever, and Shakana was like going through with Tory Lanez about her whole situation about like, oh, I was only using the Gucci store
As
portion as
an
a as
example.
right as an example. And I get her on that, but I also feel like that's something else that's not part of what we should really be dealing with either, because Gucci, we have a history with Gucci. You know what I'm saying? We have a history, a
A
very
bad
sordid
one.
history, right? A very sordid history with Gucci. But that goes back to the point of only taking the clip. If I only took from the clip and didn't go and look at the other video with her and Tory Lanez, it looks like Shakana's crying about some damn Gucci.
It does.
Like that's it.
And
That's
that
the
is
way it looks.
and that is really why we have to be very, very careful with our choice of words when
Hmm.
expressing our thoughts and feelings on issues like this, because people will take clips and chop it up to
Right.
create a narrative. And I think she tried to step with good intent, and it just backfired because she didn't know
Right.
how to properly express or use the proper words.
And I
Um,
think that we also have a thing as Black people where it becomes the passion over protest,
yeah,
where because you're passionate about it, which there's nothing wrong with being passionate. I myself have been in many a situation where I'm passionate. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. Everything that I say is what it is.
right.
You have those moments where you just have to be cognizant of what that looks like. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah, you
And
have to
yeah,
be very cautious of what that looks like. And you can't mince words. people really need to hear. I think right now people really need to hear people speaking from the heart,
Hmm.
that are genuine. They don't need a well written press release statement from a publicist that they can read. They want to know that people care.
Right.
Sometimes people feel, especially
Right.
now, that because you've reached a certain income bracket, you have an automatic privilege because your money has allowed you to rise to a certain lifestyle, and that you can't relate to
Hmm.
everybody that's hitting the street. But that could be further from the truth, because it doesn't matter how much money you have in your bank account the moment a police officer manhandles you out of your car.
Right.
It never
Uh,
matters.
Trina, are you listening? Because Trina needs to hear that.
Yeah, it
Because
doesn't
Trina
matter.
needs to.
And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. We saw
Yeah,
what
it really
happened with
doesn't.
Magic Land.
Or what? Bianca Taylor. I mean, Breonna Taylor.
Breonna Taylor.
Like you're in your home. You're
She's
in your home.
an essential worker.
How does that work?
How does that
How
work?
it doesn't make
How
any
do you
sense.
barge into how did first of all, that whole situation particularly, and not to say the George Floyd situation that was particularly hurtful because you had to see it all happen, but with
Right.
Breonna Taylor situation, this woman is in our age group. I
Hmm.
related to her. I relate to her and on multiple levels, and then two, she's an
Right.
essential worker. She didn't get the work from home option that some people were uh so provided for, such as myself, but she was a part of the front line of people that needed to stay out and work during this pandemic, and you blew her away, and you blew her away with the wrong information. The person
Right.
that they needed to get in custody, that they were attempting to get while busting into her home, was already in custody. How
Exactly.
do you
How does that
let
work?
that happen?
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
You
And I
barge
think
into
that
you barge into homes and kill people with misinformation. The little girl, her name slips my mind. She
uh,
also died in a similar fashion from a police raid.
hmm
How?
how 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 do we have this? And I think that the landscape has also changed because of the fact that this has been going on forever. Like I was actually making a post, but I actually deleted it yesterday, and I was thinking to myself, like, yo, I lived, I was born in 1983. I lived in a predominantly white neighborhood. I
Mhm.
went to predominantly white schools,
Mhm.
but keep in mind, we were literally, by the time I was born, we were literally 20 years away from the civil rights movement. So
Right.
nothing was just okay. It was
Right.
okay on the surface, but it really wasn't okay. Then not to mention the fact that with going to predominantly white schools, it was three of us to a class. That wasn't something that was designed like, oh, it's only you guys are the only ones out in the district. No, it was designed that way. It was made that way. You know what I'm saying? And I say all of that to say that we're not so removed. We're not like by the time I got into at least elementary school, I was what? We were what, 25 years away removed from slavery and the civil rights. I'm 36 now, so we're only like 50 some odd years away from that. So we're not as removed as it seems.
Police
And
brutality is not a new phenomenon.
it is not. It is not. And it's just like, yo, like I down to the point where I hate to share the story because it's his story, so I'd rather him say it, and he will eventually on the show. But KK's gone through it, down to the point of being beaten and arrested, but never charged, being detained and never charged. Take it. So isn't that kidnapping?
Yes,
Because you're moving someone from the space that they're in immediately and then detaining them somewhere else. You
that's
know what I'm saying?
happened. That's happened to so many black men and brown Latino men so many times. one thing that really makes me upset is like some people from this generation that we're in or younger, they think this is all just happening. No,
No,
honey, it is not.
no, no.
Police brutality against black and brown people have been happening since the city and state governments that you live in
Hmm.
formed and incepted a police department.
Exactly.
And prior to the inception of the police departments in your city and state, they had militias, okay,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
were informal militias that would police or go around their area to evoke justice. Now, once police departments were formed and set up and by the city and state governments, law enforcement, I mean, it all went from there. You can only
Exactly.
imagine. We are in the age of cell phones and camera phones and social media now. What about all the people that this happened to pre-internet?
Exactly. Exactly.
Millions of people that will never see justice. They've been beat up, handcuffed, detained unlawfully, no warrants, no Miranda rights, nothing, nothing, nothing. And this has happened to people for decades and decades and decades and decades. And that's what I want
Exactly.
people to know.
Exactly.
This
And
is
that was
not
and that was
new.
my whole point.
Stop acting like it's new.
It's so not new. It's so not down to the point where, like, even in the unsolved that they have, I think it was like on TBS or whatever, with Tupac and Biggie, and one of the scenes was Tupac being in the street and showing his ID and getting beaten to damn near bloody pulp and arrested, but for nothing because your name was Tupac Amaru Shakur. You know, we just we don't we have to think past this. And my question for you is, how do you feel that creatives? This was a question I didn't have. How do you feel that creatives can rise above this? You know, and continue to make content because I'll be honest with you. I had to postpone the show. I had to postpone the podcast last week because I couldn't. I don't know how to be relevant and funny and all of those things
Hmm.
and still try to quote unquote make a coin or quote unquote put out content. How do you think that we'll get past that?
Um, well, I think it's mindful and okay to take a pause for the cause.
Hmm.
I think it's but I think creatives can get through it by not being silent and using their platform. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier, which is being being aware, spreading and using your platform in the proper way, and being mindful what you say on your platform. So if
Right.
you're the type of person that's always doing entertainment and funny stuff and great, things like that, you can pause and make a statement and give the opportunity for awareness. You don't have all of these subscribers, followers, fan base for nothing. They
Right.
want to know your opinion. So for all the creators that are out there, you can still create because people still need there are some people that this has caused anxiety, depression, and extreme anger, and they need
Hmm.
something to fill them in a proper way. So
Yeah.
if you do music, do a freestyle. If you paint or do art, make something in tribute. If you are a comedian, it's okay to use your platforms to talk about these things. Get on
Hmm.
live and just have an open discussion with your fan base or your follower base about how they're feeling.
Right. And if anybody's watching, you can drop any comments in the chat right now. That's perfectly fine. And to add and to piggyback onto that, I think that as creatives, we get into a space because we want to be like, yo, I'm in my own space. I want you to be able to see what it is. Like starting the podcast. What was the point? And I was like, yo, I have so many friends that have so many dope ass things going on. When will they ever get a chance to be showcased? Well,
Right.
let's kickstart this and make this happen. Um, but it's draining. I will say I have been mentally drained quite often from everything. Like I can't turn on the TV anymore. It's like I didn't want to do the old school reviews where I'm reviewing older music. It's like, yo, we don't even have those days back anymore. You know what I mean? So I
Right.
kind of felt overwhelmed to do that in that space at that point. But I mean, I'm gonna be back because look,
Right.
kid got to
We
press on.
have
You know
to
what I mean?
we have to press forward, and we have to march ahead, because that's what
Hmm.
oppressors want us to do, to lose and be distracted, and to not carry on with our mission and vision statements. So we have to press forward. But
Right.
I'm going to tell you this, it's also impacted me the same way. It's my mood is down.
Hmm.
This brings about anxiety, and you feel uneasy, you know
Right.
about this. And, I think it's important, and I've mentioned this before, that we all practice good digital citizenship, which
Hmm.
is which is pretty much the idea of being a good digital citizen is more or less a mind state of how you're aware and how you appear online or in a digital space.
Right.
So by being a better digital citizen, one thing you can do is be sensitive to others.
Hmm.
For example, I've since the pandemic started, and even prior to that, I've been very sensitive to
Right.
images and things that I see online.
Right.
Even as a social media specialist, I work inside of the social media space nearly every day,
Hmm.
managing accounts for a large corporation or for a smaller brand. And I'm constantly seeing things that are traumatizing and triggering on my timeline. So, what I tell people is you have to be more sensitive. First of all, if you're sending a, a video of a lynching of another person of color, or
Right.
somebody getting killed or anything like that, first of all, do not take that same image or video and just hit send down your messenger.
Right.
Because here's why: that could trigger somebody, that could hurt somebody, or put somebody in a mental state that they don't want to be. So the first thing
Right.
that you need to do is say, am I sending this to somebody that wants to see this? Yes or no.
Hmm.
Number two, did I ask permission to send this video to this person? Should I
Right.
ask permission? The answer is most likely yes.
Yes.
Because not everybody wants to see somebody getting murdered. I
Right.
definitely did not want to see George Floyd getting suffocated
It's
20
just,
times. And I
and
saw,
then
I had
I
seen
think
it.
the worst part of that was to watch that video and to literally watch the life go out of a man.
Yeah.
There's
That's
nothing.
traumatizing.
It is. And the girl, there was a girl there that was next to the person, I guess, that was recording, and she is traumatized for
Yeah.
life. What blows me, and this is going to be an unpopular opinion. I don't give a fuck.
Hmm.
The thing that blows me the most about white people is that you will cape and you will go up for fucking animals. But when it comes to people, you ain't got no heart. All day we'll have Peter rallies and don't kill the animals and let's be vegan and this that. All of those things are shit that you will do,
Hmm.
but when it comes to people, you don't give a shit. And
Right.
then when you think that you're supporting the cause, you're not really supporting the cause, because what I've noticed and what I'm watching is that it's the hipsters that are feeling like they're making a difference. You're vandalizing communities. But the first thing that they do is when you see the vandalization, you think, oh, that was a black person that did that. Nah,
Right.
we're not out here for that. That's not what
Right.
we're out here for. You know what I'm saying? I don't claim to be an activist in that way, but I do claim to understand the difference between what's right and what's wrong, and not using your voice. And if you have that privilege and you choose to be an ally, like I'm so pissed because I'm shaking now. If you choose to be an ally, the difference between being an ally of someone and just admiring what they do from afar are completely two completely different things.
Mm-hmm.
100%. There is no way that, let's just use for instance that as a cisgender male, I am an ally for the LGBTQ community. And the reason being, I'll say it, and I don't give a shit. But the reason being is I can't walk around and hate them and have a sister that is, or have a cousin that is, that is a part of that community.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. So you can't sit back and, like, I've seen some shit online that just blows me, but you can't sit back and be a white mother of a black child, because that happens quite frequently, but then not want to get involved, because at the end of the day, your son, your daughter, whomever could be in those same situations.
Right.
So you need to be part of the movement in any capacity, but don't hinder it.
Right.
And
And
it just is so much. It's so much. Go
I
ahead. I'm
agree
sorry.
with you
Mm-hmm.
because it brought to my mind how there was a video of a group of black men, heterosexual black men, beating a trans woman.
Yes.
And
Oh, the one where it was like 30 of them on one woman, one
yeah.
trans woman.
Mhm.
That was it's fucking ridiculous.
Right.
Fucking ridiculous.
But people still, people justified her beating off of incident that happened prior to them ganging up on her. And I don't care if I don't care what she did. 30 against one or 20 against one or 10 against one. I mean, if we're going to have a fair fight, that's not even a fair fight.
Right.
Nobody should be putting their hands on anybody. But
Right.
here we are, and I'm glad to hear that she survived.
Mm-hmm.
But it sickens me that here we are, on one hand, Black Lives Matter, but then on the other hand, the LGBT lives don't. I'm
Right.
confused. We all
And to add
matter.
it, and to add circulation into that, the one part of that video that threw me, and I didn't watch because apparently it's a whole 21-minute video. I did only watch the snippets, but the snippet part that I did watch in that was when she got behind the counter and was trying to get up, or was facing whoever the store clerk was that was behind the counter. He recoiled from her instantly, because now you don't want to be a part of this whole situation.
Right.
Why? Why? If you're already telling them to leave and you're already telling them to get out, her touching you didn't mean anything. But that recoil right there only showed that we just don't give a fuck. And I can't sit as a grown ass man in my own skin. I can't sit back and just let that be the injustice. Like, yo, here's the thing, and this is one of the things that, and I know this is all about you, and I know we've kind of gotten off topic a little bit, but here's one of the things.
We have to talk about this. We have to talk
Yeah.
about this, and we need to talk about Candace Owens.
Okay, and then so here's one of the other things that I really have to say that bothers me. You niggas, and I'm gonna say it, you niggas be out here wearing, you don't wear Gucci anymore because we didn't cancel it, but you still wear Fendi, you'll still wear Prada, you'll still wear all of this. Let me be very clear. You'll still wear Versace. Let me be very clear. Most of those brands are run by gay men. But you're so quick to put that shit on your body and then claim that you the upstandard of heterosexuality.
Ooh, how about this? You so quick to have you a Gucci, Fendi, Prada, Versace, but then when somebody has a brand new apparel company, you won't pay $30 for a sweatshirt and
What?
support a black-owned business? You're weird, bro. Like, that is weird. Like,
What?
okay, so does that Gucci, Louis, Prada, Fendi give you clout?
Mm.
I don't
But y'all niggas
understand.
will run around all day with that shit on.
But you won't support a black-owned business.
Hmm.
That's weird.
And that is where my fact is going. You know what I'm saying to you? So you so quick sit around here and all of that and all of these little designer things and even get the knockoff for it, but you clearly fail to realize that the LGBTQ plus community runs a lot of that. Runs a lot,
Right.
no matter how you feel about the sexual stigma behind it, whatever. A lot of that is from some of your favorite brands are from clear and blatant homosexuals.
Right.
And I'm not mad at that. It is what it is. Some of the shit looks amazing, but I don't get how you'll go up for the brand, but you won't stand by the same people that make the brand.
Right.
Right. Just a thought.
It's the same. Listen, I just feel like this. If you're going to be in any type of creative field or the entertainment industry, you're going to have a level of tolerance. It might not be what you do, but you
Right.
have to have a level of respect, because
Mm-hmm.
in every area of the music and entertainment industry, you are going to encounter people that are a part of multiple communities.
Exactly.
Okay, and you may not understand it, but it doesn't give you license to think you're one more superior than them or to
Right.
respect them. Everybody, see, because it pays to be nice,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody in the community has to learn. You know, I wish Lil Boosie would understand that.
Okay, we going there. We going there. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. I'm sorry. Because I haven't discussed this. I need them. Singleton, you make me sick because I just thought about this. So, sir, are you not clear that what you have done is called molestation? Are you not clear that thinking at any age to give a prostitute to some young boys, that this is not a form of manipulation and molestation? But we okay with that because we raised them up right. First of all, niggas, let me be clear. To raise the man up right would be to learn how to love a woman. Love a woman. Not about the sexual aspect of it, but love your queen. Let's start there, number one. Number two, could you balance a checkbook? Learn how to do debits and credits. Learn that all your cash don't need to go on the fucking mattress.
Learn to
Number
clean,
three,
learn hygiene and to clean yourself.
I was going there. I was in there. I was in there.
I'm sorry to
Number
interrupt
three,
you. I was.
learn how to wipe your ass. You know what I'm saying to you? It's the, even though you got a blocker, it's still front to back. It's still front to back. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And on top of all of that, learn how to be a pillar in your community. That's what you teach a young man. That's what you teach any person. Let's not just gender specific it. You teach any person that.
Anybody.
Learn financial literacy.
Right.
Not my sexual proclivity needs to be because I've had some prostitute suck my dick. Like, what does?
Why haven't I'm confused as to why haven't charges been brought up on him and the
Right.
person that he solicited his, because that's, isn't that child, like
That's
soliciting a
solicitation.
minor or something like that?
Yes.
Even if it's your own son or daughter,
Mm-hmm. And
that
that's another thing. Had it been girls,
that's statutory rape, right?
right? Had that been girls, had it been girls, this story would have blown all the way the fuck up. But because it's boys, we supposed to be like it's okay.
You,
Nah, son, this shit ain't right.
I'm gonna lay something on you, and you may not like it.
Mm,
Had it been girls, the girls would have been called whores,
true.
because
True.
female promiscuity and male promiscuity are not the same.
Right.
We saw what happened with T.I. and his daughter.
Right. And here's the thing about that. This is my thing, and I've said time and time again. This is what I believe about girls, and it's not the most educated situation or educated shit to say. This is what I'm going to say though. If you think for a second that your daughters are not going to be sexual, you're wrong. Number one. Number two, if you don't want them fucking, if you don't want them to fuck, but you want the boys to fuck, who are the boys gonna be fucking?
We teach our boys
Just
we
saying.
teach our boys to have unprotected sex and shoot up the club, and we
I
teach
wanna,
our daughters to keep a chastity belt on. And if they even so as even cross the border or even think
right.
about it, they will be shamed to hell.
But
It
here's the
is
thing.
and so with Boosie, what he's doing is he's showing people that your masculinity rests in being um sexually deviant,
Right.
because you have to prove your sexuality. You have to prove your sexuality as a man
Right.
each and every day. So having multiple sexual partners, because my goodness, if you don't act like you like girls, you're XYZ.
Right. But and that's another thing. I think that we as a society, as black folk, we have a level of what we create masculinity to be.
Right.
And I don't think that's all true. I think that masculinity and femininity come in many different forms and shapes and facets. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, uh, our divorce rate pretty fucking high for the same niggas that love women. You can't love them if you keep leaving them.
Right. That didn't
Just
change.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't love them if you keep leaving them. And then
Right.
I think that we've had a stigma in our community for quite a while where we have black men in the multiple family situation
Hmm.
because you're not able to love yourself. Like I've had this conversation with many men where many men go from the situation of living with their mother to living with their baby mother. But in between that time frame, you ain't found you. And I'm no different from that. I definitely went from my mother to living with my girlfriend who became my wife. You know what I'm saying to you? But granted, yes, we built, and I feel like that part is a little bit different. But also, there's a time where you didn't get to know who you were in that, and I think
Right.
black men and men in general don't get that opportunity.
Right. And that's why
You don't get that.
I feel like that's so important in the
Mhm.
development um of our black men and women. That's why
Mhm.
I feel like, a lot of people may not agree with me, but I feel like going to college is very is essential, because
Right.
it not only teaches you about, of course, academically, and teaches you to
Mhm.
strive academically so you can learn, but it also sets you up to learn a lot of things socially as well. you
Right.
know um in an environment. So I think it's a great place, a fraternity, joining fraternities and sororities and other civic organizations to learn how
Mhm.
to network and work in groups is also very important.
Right.
Some households don't have that lifestyle, so they're like, okay, well, you're finished high school, and they just dump you out of the house, get a job, but you don't
Mhm.
really learn how to socialize in groups well. You don't really learn how to network. You don't really learn how to cultivate certain
Mhm.
skills that you need to really be a great citizen, but you learn it over time. That's called the school of
Yeah.
hard knocks. And that's not,
Yeah.
I'm not devaluing or discrediting that, because
Yeah.
some of my favorite people did not go to college. But what I'm saying is that, yeah, like, what I'm saying is that, even in my experience, it was because I went to school and my mother was an advocate of it, that, I got to really learn. I mean, I think for
Yeah.
me, I was just fortunate. I learned even before going to college. I went to summer camp. A lot of kids don't
I
get that
did. I
opportunity.
did get a chance to do those things.
So
Yeah.
if you got a chance to go to summer camp, I'm a big advocate of that, especially for young black men and women. Like, there are so many great summer programs that
Hmm.
kids can enroll into, that can really kind of set the precedent for them if they want to go to college or even the military.
Yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, some of the summer camp stuff may not be happening this year, but hopefully next year, if we can get things together, we
Right.
can
Fingers
get that
crossed.
back. We can get
But you
that
know what?
back.
That led me to a thought too. Um, I think that is also part of a divine plan for us to hinder social interaction. You know what
Mm,
I'm saying to you? Because I think that will deteriorate if we don't harness it the way that we're supposed to. But I think it will deteriorate the future leaders that should come up. You know what I'm saying to you? Because they don't have the social skills. Like I'm using for an example and not dissing her the way that I feel most days. But Summer Walker, like for instance, with the whole social anxiety thing, a lot of kids have it. A lot of kids really do are not able to do that. Like I was able to grow up. I was the only child, but
same.
my mother, I was my mother's only child, let me be clear. My mother um really kind of instilled and pushed those social things out on me and was amazed that I was able to do it where I was in theater. I spoke on debate teams, all type of other things that
Right.
kind of, came about of those things. She's like, I don't know how you do it. And I said, me neither, but I enjoy it. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I just
I
enjoy
did dance. For many years, I did
it.
dance
Yeah.
class. I modeled in high school. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people can't believe that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I modeled in high school and college. Did like
Yeah.
the school fashion shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a
Shout out
clip
to Hood College.
out of the hood college. There's a clip of me on YouTube modeling. If you want to
Oh
see that,
God. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it.
I'm gonna send it to you. I'm cute.
Okay. But yo, I mean, it's funny because I'm like, the in the last 3 years with doing the podcast and now trying to launch my own YouTube platform, I realized that the goal that I had set and listening back to some of the other shows, and I got it all offline. I got to tell you about these numbers. These numbers are crazy right now. But I realized that what I wanted to do was to step outside of my box. Everything I hated, I just wanted to do. You know what I'm saying to you? And when I mean hated, like hated about myself, I would do it. It didn't matter. I was like, yo, I don't like my speaking voice, but I'm going to continue to do it anyway because fuck it, it's me. Either you won't love it or you won't hate it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then I got a chance to model on a fashion show. Let me tell y'all something. Shit is scary, okay? I'm gonna fuck
It
about how
is.
many naked people. It's fucking terrifying. I don't care about how many naked people is behind you. It's fucking crazy. It's
Listen,
ridiculous.
I've always been a plus size girl,
Yeah,
and I got bullied. I got bullied
yeah.
and teased, but you know what? I didn't care when I got up on that runway and I strutted myself down that runway. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
care if people were laughing,
Right.
and I didn't care if people were cheering, because all I
Mm-hmm.
heard was screams when I hit the runway. So
Right.
so it really could have affected me in a negative and positive way. But I
Mm-hmm.
knew that I was there as a representation of a body that was not going to be present with the 20 some odd people behind me.
Right. Exactly.
Not going to be another girl that looked like me. So when I got up in high school and in college and I did my school fashion shows, I did it for the girls that looked like me that couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Even my own
Yeah.
cousin, she's very successful now. She commented to me one time and she said, I don't know how you did it. I said,
Mm-hmm.
what do you mean? I said, you did your school fashion shows. I would have never done that.
Right.
Well, I did it because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I mean, while it was hard for me to find clothes to wear in the fashion shows and things like that, I did it because I did it for the one or two girls or whoever many girls that were going to be sitting in the crowd that night, knowing that
Mm-hmm.
I could never have that much confidence. So I did it for them. And I experienced a lot, being microaggressions from the other models.
Man.
I was even, berated by the director of the fashion show at one point. It happened to me.
Let me
But
tell you
you know what?
something.
I just took it. I just said, you know what? I had to let go and let God, because I had a mission statement, and
Let me
I
tell you something.
on the
One
show.
of the things that I think connects you and I, though, is
Mhm.
that is a very similar situation. I think that people think that men don't have body issues.
Yeah.
That is so wrong. We do. Number one. Number two. The ultimate thing was I was actually bigger and my body felt misproportioned at the time because I was in the mix of kind of working out, but not really. You know what I'm saying? And I remember the announcer be like, "Oh, we got real man realness coming down the runway." I said, I'm done. When that happened, I was like, sis, I'm not gonna be able to do this because this right here was too much. But I made it, and it was just like them kind of gawking at the material. It was like, and it was pajamas at that too. I was like, look, I'm wearing a t-shirt because I refuse to strut down this motherfucker like that. I'm not gonna do it. I
Yeah,
refuse.
yeah.
I refuse. So, but yeah, I definitely get it. So before we get out of here, I do want to speak about your CBD endeavors.
Oh, yes.
Mm.
I discovered CBD last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's been in the people been using it for years at this point, but I just became hip to it. Um, as I'm getting older, and I, especially last year, was dealing with a lot of issues concerning anxiety and depression. I'll be open enough to say that. And
Right.
so when I found out that some of the benefits of using the CBD is to help with those issues, I began to use it. I was working out also a lot and, had
Mm-hmm.
body pain. And so I got some CBD oil and I started to use it because I had to really see if it really was going to be for me.
Right.
I'm not really into smoking like THC per se.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I said the CBD was a nice middle ground because
Yeah.
you can take it and it's all natural. So
Mm-hmm.
I started using it first. I was a customer first, but then now I'm in one of the business ventures that I'm going to be working on and coming up very soon. If you just keep in touch with me, I
Mm-hmm.
will. I'm interested in starting a CBD brand.
Right.
I've already started working with another company called E3 Wellness out of Las
Mm-hmm.
Vegas, Nevada, and they get their CBD from farms in California and Colorado.
Ooh.
So, for those that are interested in starting their own CBD brand, or you want to work with me through E3 Wellness, you can reach out to me. I'm Singleton Newman on Facebook, and let's start a discussion. But I think CBD
Mm-hmm.
is wonderful and a lot of people use it.
Right. Right. I have tried myself. It
Mhm.
it works wonders. Um, as a creative, I am overly over like my mind works 100 different ways. You don't know that, like, just from starting the interview with you, interview, doing my work, my regular day-to-day work, door dashing, and just trying to make money because I want my background not to be beige no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mind is always, I really don't, I'm tired of this shit. But my mind has been really racing on a lot. And I will say that, like, the CBD, even in vaping, kind of, although vaping is very controversial, um, even in that, kind of takes me down and brings me to a level of calm. It helps me sleep,
Oh
which is
my gosh, that
nice.
was the biggest benefit.
Mm, girl, that's sleep. I be looking at that watch. They be like, you got like 9 hours. I said, of what? Sleep? Shit. Did I die? Like, yo, one day I got like, I was really weird.
You really
One day
you
I
really
got,
want some night night like oh my
yo,
god.
I got 12 hours of sleep one day. I said I slept half a day.
You needed
Like, what
it.
am I? Yo, I needed it, and
You
it's
needed it.
just I think that a lot of times people think that the when you don't do a physical job, that you don't have any real reason to be tired. But the mental juggling and shit, because with me working in property management, I have to juggle my. This is one of the things that we talk about with the protests. I have to juggle my emotions. I have to juggle the way that I move, the way that I think, the way that I speak. Like, all of those things got to be juggled. And some days I just want to be like, fuck it.
Right.
Right. Like, I just don't care. Just throw it away. I'm done.
Right.
Like, I'm just done. And so I get the whole CBD situation. I think that is it. That
I'm
that is it.
trying to actually get. I got some from my mother, and she started using it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I want to encourage her and my father to use CBD products as a way to help with pain management. Now, I wanted to say disclaimer: CBD is not a cure all. It
It
is
is not.
not a cure all. It is a means to an end. You will still need to consult with your doctors. You will
Mm-hmm.
still need to do your due diligence with your health care in order to make sure that you're getting the proper assistance. So if you have a pain management doctor, work with them, talk to your general practitioners, but it is not a cure all. It is there to aid and assist, but it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
cure everything. So, I mean, and you can take it in multiple ways. For those people that still enjoy the idea of smoking, you can smoke it.
Mm-hmm.
If you like edibles and that's what you prefer, you can, they have gummies or
Mm-hmm.
gummy bears that are also really good.
They
And
are
then
delicious.
they are very good.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have the oil. Um, I work with. I've bought from two different couple companies, but
Mm-hmm.
I recommend everyone start if you're like a smaller, what I would consider to be a petite person or a smaller frame person, and you have maybe like minimal to medium pain. Start with
Mm-hmm.
500 milligrams. If you're a plus size person or a larger frame person, such as myself, um,
Mm-hmm.
and you do have body pains, start with 1,000 milligrams. If you do find that that's a little bit too much, you can
Then
dial
work your
down
way
to
down.
500
Yeah.
or lower than that. They do
Mm-hmm.
have 25. They do have 1,500, 2,500 milligrams, and those are pretty much really high. But
Mm-hmm.
I would say for the average person that wants to try CBD, especially for body pain, I recommend getting a topical cream, and then I would recommend taking a oil twice a day in the morning and once before bedtime, about 30
Mm-hmm.
minutes before you kind of dial down for bed. And now,
Yeah.
if you take that 30 minutes before you dial down to bed, you're going straight to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it helps you well with getting your proper rest. And then you jump up in the morning, you feel better, you feel refreshed, and you can work on through your day.
Yes. Let me tell you, you and Maxine, and this whole CBD situation and her whole hemp situation, she even got a whole room and it's devoted to it.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, it is a
I
thing.
gotta come over.
Yeah, you got to come over. It's. Let me tell you something. I I especially once this room gets done, girl. This room is going to be comfortable. It is going to encompass a lot of hip hop. The walls are going to be different, so everything is going to look really different. So what I want to do is I want to eventually do a before and after. So I'll do the before is like once I start painting, and then once it's officially finished, I'll put all of those together in a montage video. But yeah,
That'll be fun.
yeah,
Yes.
that's my goal. So that, I mean, it's gonna take a little minute, but it is my goal. That's my goal.
Awesome.
But Singleton, it has been an absolute pleasure as always. Because you're you.
Thank
I hope that you guys have gotten a lot of informative information from Singleton today. You know, where can people find you? Let's start there.
Well, I'm proud to say that I'll be working on my website. So that's coming soon. You can find me online at New Hope Digital. I am on
Mhm.
New Hope Digital on Instagram and Facebook. My name is Singleton Newman, so you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, all the social media platforms. And if you have any questions or interested in doing a discovery call with me for your brand or business for social media management, please go to my Facebook page at New Hope Digital and send me a message so we can schedule a discovery call and figure out how we can help you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, and let me tell you something. If you want to know why Singleton is the best, real quick, this is the same girl that just has rubbed hands and has shaken hands with some of your faves. I have been in the Baltimore scene for a minute, just in general. You know what I'm saying to you? Not like some with the other politics, but we won't go there. But I
Another
will say this
conversation.
not doing that. But so I will say every single time that I have run into someone and been like, yeah, I was talking to my girl Singleton and we were talking about XYZ. Oh, Singleton, I love Singleton. She
Ah,
is the best. And so when your name rings bells out in these streets like that, you kind of got to go for the goal. And one of the other things that I definitely wanted to say before we leave is that um, remember what I stated in the beginning, that this came from a drunken rampage of me talking to you, but saying to you that you deserve your flowers. You
thank
know what
you.
I'm saying? And you do, you're welcome, and you do
Thank you.
deserve your flowers. I think that you've been in the industry and doing a lot for other people, from music management to now social media management. You've done so much for so many other people, and I don't think people have given enough time to say thank you to you because you the shit. And and sometimes people need to know that. Like somebody said it to me the other day, and I was like, damn, I don't think of myself like that. I think that what I'm doing is I'm hoping it's for the culture. I hope the culture likes it. I hope that people can respect that I'm showing light to some of the amazing dope ass artists. That's cool. But for you are a phenomenal person. You are a phenomenal force in this industry, and I think that you will give so much guidance to people. I think that you will continue to move on and be excellent, be beautiful, be brilliant. God gonna bring you that king that you've been looking for, and the baby's behind it.
Thank you.
That's all I'm saying. And the king, and let's be clear, the king don't have to be black. Okay, the king don't have to be black. Just it don't.
No,
It's just
that's good.
stick to like, look, I'm leaving my options open. I'm not here for that. I'm
All
not
the
here for
way.
that.
All the way.
Right.
I'm grateful. I'm learning to practice gratitude every day for what I have, and I'm so blessed to have a great group of friends that you're a part of, and I'm so thankful
Hmm.
for the network of people that I know, and for the opportunities that are coming ahead. I'm really just doubling down and making sure that I follow through on everything that I say that I do. I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. I've not always made the
Hmm.
right decisions, but I'm just going to keep on forging ahead. So it's important that everybody just do the same. Respect yourself and
Right.
respect others. And as long as you continue to keep God or the creator first, and do right by yourself and others, then you can't lose.
Exactly. 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 Well, once again, I have been your host, Young Smooth, and you are sitting here watching, kicking it with Young Smooth. Now, don't you feel better about it? I know you do. You know what I'm saying? Because you're here with me. So, Singleton, stay on. I'm gonna go ahead and end this broadcast. But I love y'all for real. Peace.
Peace.
All right.